From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
The community of Lame Deer gathers to remember the 8-year-old boy killed in a drive-by shooting last week. We'll have interviews with his family. Plus, a new poll is showing the Tester Sheehy race for the U.S. Senate neck and neck. Details on how local researchers arrived at those results in just a few minutes. Plus, we've got snow in Red Lodge this week. Take a look at those slopes. All of this, of course, indicating that ski season right around the corner. Here's a live look right now at the Midway. Flakes coming down right now. We also, a little bit earlier this morning, saw some snow-making machines out there.
Yeah, snow-making, yeah, sure.
Which was super cool. So welcome back on this Wednesday, October 30th. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson.
Morning, everybody.
And we've got snow on the ground, especially in those higher elevations.
Yeah, absolutely. And we still have a winter storm warning in effect for like portions of the Pryor Mountains and the Bighorns. There's not a lot of activity down there right now. A little bit of snow in portions of the Bighorns and maybe another shot as we go along this morning. But that should be about it. High pressure is going to start to take over. So we'll see some drier conditions come in. Although Thursday night into Friday morning, another shot of energy coming through could give us some light snow to the mountains. And then on Sunday night into the early part of next week, maybe a little bit more mountain snow coming into play. Let's take a step back in time yesterday. We told you it was going to be below average, and it was about 6 degrees below the norm of 47. Now, we may try to hit 50 today because of all the sunshine this afternoon. Our low yesterday, 33, pretty seasonal. Top gust of 18 miles an hour. Still going to be breezy today with gusts over 20 miles an hour possible. It was a dry day yesterday, so we continue to dig a hole for the month and for the year in terms of moisture. Not much moisture at all in the forecast, really over the next, at least through the weekend here in Billings. We may see a change as we get into the early part of next week. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. Right now, clear skies in the Magic City, sitting at 30. Winds are pretty calm at the moment. I see pretty quiet out there. We're still seeing some cloud cover over to our east. As we go along today from west to east, the sunshine comes out to warm us up. 20s and 30s right now across the area. And we'll take a live shot at Red Lodge. You can see the snow-making machine working hard to get ready for the season. So, yeah, boy. Can't wait.
And opening day, just a month away.
We'll be doing those ski reports very soon.
Yeah,
Get ready.
Very soon. Wow. All right, Miller, thank you so much for tracking all of that. And our top local story today, hundreds gathered in Lame Deer yesterday, remembering 8-year-old Marquez Deputy Ontiveros. The boy was shot and killed last Wednesday in an apparent drive-by shooting. On Tuesday morning, his funeral was held at the Allen Rowland Gymnasium, where the boy's second-grade classmates served as honorary pallbearers. Our Charlie Kleps was there.
As hundreds of Lame Deer residents filed into the elementary school gymnasium Tuesday, a somber cloud fell over the room.
Our beloved Kez was taken from us on October 25th, 2024, due to catastrophic injuries sustained from a gunshot wound.
As the community continues to try and heal from the tragic death of 8-year-old Marquez Deputy Ontiveros.
Marquez loved everybody. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter where you came from. Marquez showed his love to everybody, big or small.
But throughout the service, that somber cloud was lifted. Through music, memories.
His hobbies included basketball, riding horses, and being with his family and friends.
There was not one dull moment in that classroom when Marquez was there. I could hardly ever get through one classroom without him just needing a hug.
And even some laughter.
Thank you for the life that Marquez lived. 8 years of life touched so many, many people.
An 8-year-old with a big personality that lived his life to the fullest.
You could tell the personality in his life would always come out. He was always quick to give a smile and a hug or a high five.
And a community still reeling from his loss. In Lame Deer, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Charlie, thank you so much. The FBI did arrest a suspect in this case. Their name has not been released. The suspect pled guilty in tribal court on Monday. The individual, again, not identified, but they were ordered to pay a $23,000 fine and sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in jail. That's the maximum time the tribal court can administer. It remains unclear right now if the individual will face any federal charges. And on the campaign trail this morning, we're getting another peek at a highly anticipated Montana poll ahead of Election Day. Every year, MSU Billings releases results from its Mountain States poll, and this year it shows candidates in the closely watched Senate race tied. Those candidates, of course, are incumbent Democrat Senator Jon Tester and Republican challenger Tim Sheehy. Each came in with 43% of those polled. There's a 3.5% margin of error. The latest national poll, the Emerson College poll, shows Sheehy with a 50 to 46% lead over Tester. In the MSUB poll, 4% of the vote went to the Libertarian Party candidate, 2% to the Green Party, and 8% did not choose any candidate. The Mountain States poll shows Republican Troy Downing with a 43% to 26% lead over Democrat John Driscoll. And it's one of the most expensive races in the U.S. this year, the Montana U.S. Senate election. The spending has mostly gone to political advertising across the state. And as our MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian found out, many folks here in Montana say they're ready for next Tuesday to arrive.
In your mailbox, on your phone, and on TV, it's been hard for Montanans to avoid political ads this year.
I'm going to wreck my mute button on my TV because they keep showing the same stupid ads over and over and over again.
It's definitely a drag. You know, you just want to listen to a song or something, and then it's like Shady Sheehy or Two-Term Tester or whatever.
We spoke to a lot of Montana voters who felt the same way. The biggest contributor to all those ads is clearly Montana's U.S. Senate race, which could decide which party controls the Senate next year. The two major party campaigns have spent more than $100 million since the start of last year, $79 million from Democratic Senator Jon Tester's campaign, and almost $22 million from Republican candidate Tim Sheehy's. And even that's only part of the picture. The nonpartisan group Open Secrets reports outside groups have spent another $155 million, split almost evenly between supporting Sheehy and Tester. That's more independent spending than on any other election in the country, except the presidential race and Senate races in Ohio and Pennsylvania. But when you look at how much is spent per voter, Montana is at the top of the list. Altogether, as of the last reporting deadline before the election, the candidates and outside groups have put in $226 for every person in the state. And that doesn't account for millions more spent on races for U.S. House, governor, other state offices, or ballot measures. But there's only a week left for campaigns to make their pitches, so there's light at the end of the tunnel for fed-up Montanans.
Yes, I'm looking forward to having the results in and that we can get back to being, doing our regular routines.
Now, the number of potential voters who can still even be swayed by political ads like these is dropping all the time. More than 284,000 Montanans have already returned their absentee ballots. That's more than a third of all the registered voters in the state. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Jonathan, thanks so much. Some Montana sheriff's offices are taking issue with a particular ad printed in newspapers recently. It's a full-page ad supporting Jon Tester. The ad says Tester secured hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire law enforcement and purchase equipment, and includes a photo of a patrol car specific to each county. Sheriffs in Stillwater, Sweetgrass, Custer, Broadwater, and Jefferson counties issued statements saying they don't support political candidates. The ad was paid for by Tester's campaign. Campaign managers argue the ads are an honest representation of the senator's work efforts to secure federal funding, saying in a statement, quote, "Jon knows that our first responders keep Montana's rural communities safe, which is why he was proud to take feedback and input directly from law enforcement agencies across Montana and secure millions of dollars for local law enforcement in rural counties across the state." We've got more details right now on that funding and exactly what it was used for in this story at ktvq.com. And the Montana Veterans Administration says it delivered record care and benefits to veterans in 2024. VA leaders credit the PACT Act, the largest expansion of health benefits for veterans in decades. According to the VA, there were 916,000 appointments for Montana veterans and 1,900 additional veterans enrolled in VA healthcare. That's more than 230 Montana veterans in acute suicide crisis getting free emergency care as well. And the VA processed 11,000 disability benefit claims for veterans with an overall grant rate of 71%. The PACT Act was sponsored by Montana Senator Jon Tester. And we've been tracking this for a few days now. An E. coli outbreak from McDonald's Quarter Pounders is hitting Montana harder than most states. At least 75 people across 13 states are linked to the illness. Montana has 13 cases, the second most behind Colorado. This morning, we're learning of at least 8 cases in Montana linked to Yellowstone County. Our Haley Monaco has the latest on the impact here in the Treasure State.
What we know now is that McDonald's temporarily stopped selling their Quarter Pounders, and Taylor Farms recalled the onions sent to some of those restaurants. I spoke with a lawyer representing 16 clients in different states about this specific E. coli outbreak.
We started getting a cluster of cases.
And a number of them are right here in our backyard. Of Montana's 13 confirmed cases in this outbreak, 8 are in Yellowstone County.
Well, we still have 1 pending, and they were diagnosed over a week ago.
The culprit coming from the McDonald's Quarter Pounder.
First diagnosis date was the beginning of the month, so October 4th.
1 person has died in Colorado, and 3 people right here in Yellowstone County have been hospitalized.
But they were all discharged, and nobody's been readmitted. They seem to be recovering really well.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration believes it was the slivered onions from Taylor Farms. Food and safety lawyer Bill Marler is representing 16 of the 75 total people impacted.
I've had E. coli cases against Taylor Farms, including E. coli cases against them with respect to onions in the past. And so I'm not surprised that it's onions.
But this case is against McDonald's.
Between the consumer and McDonald's, McDonald's is responsible for what happened. That doesn't mean that McDonald's isn't going to point the finger at Taylor Farms and saying, hey, you need to take care of these people. And they will. Taylor Farms is also going to be facing business loss claims from McDonald's because McDonald's lost, $8 billion in stock value.
His clients are not from Montana for this lawsuit, but he says he won't be shocked if the number of cases continues to grow.
I would not be surprised. By the end of this week, we're probably looking at 100.
While the numbers may continue to rise, the concern for getting E. coli from a McDonald's Quarter Pounder is decreasing.
As far as we know, there is no threat. Whatever food this was carried on is out of circulation. We haven't seen any new cases, any onset of symptoms of new cases for at least 20 days.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.